Hey, sports fans, football season is here, and it's time to get in on the action with MyBookie.net. MyBookie has real Vegas odds and incredible player props for all your favorite sporting events. MyBookie offers in-game live action on all pro and college football games. There's no better time to join MyBookie than today. Pull out your smartphone and visit our user-friendly mobile site for adrenaline on demand. Open your browser and type in MyBookie. What are you waiting for? Call 844-722-2387 or go online to join MyBookie today. No deposit necessary. Terms and conditions apply. Play for fun only. Void where prohibited.
Have a product, service, or website to advertise on the biggest show in the world? The SBTV Nation podcast reaches tens of thousands of the best sports fans on the planet in over 194 countries worldwide. Take your business to the next level by advertising with us. Call us now at 872-529-SBTV or email us at sbtvnation@gmail.com.
Studio check.
Frequencies check.
We are live on air.
You are listening to the It Factor, blessing the airwaves. Take the journey into the world of sports, news, entertainment, while embracing the hottest beats on the planet. Rocking the mind, body, and with energy, electricity, and a splash of controversy. Now, without further ado, it's our pleasure to bring to you
the biggest show in the world.
The biggest show in the world.
The biggest show in the world. The SBTV Nation.
SBTV Nation, the dream is in the house. I gotta be honest with you. Today is gonna be the salty show. Absolutely salty. Today, Monday, October 3rd. The show is gonna be rather salty and rather real right out of the gate. I'm here with my boy, the Mad Hatter, and we need to discuss a whole lot of nonsense that I seen on the football field yesterday.
Definitely was a long day yesterday in the NFL Dream. But good morning to everybody. It is Monday. It's time to get up and start a new week and turn the page and get rocking and conquer the world today. So, Dream.
Yes.
We had a bunch of different things materialize yesterday, including
stupid.
Yeah, some definite. Some of the. I'm just going to put this out there that the lack of secondary defense was all over the football field yesterday. I never saw so many wide open receivers in my life in just 1 weekend of football.
No. Let's emphasize another point. Okay, so here's the deal, guys. And you know that professional athletes did not take, rocket scientist classes in college. Most of the time, the coaching staff were former professional athletes. So just to put a stamp on the level of maybe intelligence, all right? And I'm not saying that they're stupid. I'm not saying that. Kind of not saying that, all right? But now, as has said, the level of open receivers, all right? Now, here's my thing, because I didn't graduate like summa cum laude from Yale. But if I'm playing the Atlanta Falcons, me personally, and, I'm a defensive back, a coach of the defense, or anybody on the defense, I would say, hey, listen, if I'm the coach of, like the Carolina, they got this guy named Julio Jones.
Yeah, right.
Somebody might want to try and emphasize on him a little bit.
300 yards receiving yesterday.
Like, how do you let Julio Jones have three? Like you just forgot that he was out there.
A lot of one-on-one coverage, Dream, and it was just a complete mismatch. And Matty Ice threw for 503 yards.
How do you let Matty Ice? How do you today? When you show up at work, security should be just with your stuff right out at the front of the building saying, okay, it was nice while you were here, but I have to ask, did you, because how do you let Matt Bryan have fun? And how do you let Julio, I I want to understand what the defensive back is saying, what the defensive coordinator is saying. What are you saying in today's film session as to why you let Julio Jones just have 300 yards on you?
Unbelievable how that worked out. And that is that has not happened, if that's ever happened. I think it's the first time in history where you had a 500-yard passer and a 300-yard receiver, Dream.
And if you had Julio Jones and Matt Ryan on your fantasy team, you just had the most incredible week ever in fantasy sports due to the ineptness of someone in the NFL.
Oh, definitely. So we're alluding to the fact that the Carolina Panthers lose again, and they lose to the Atlanta Falcons. And we're going to do a segment after we break down these games of, are they good or do they stink? But the Falcons put up 48 points, Dream, and they are 3-1 now in cruise control in that division.
And Killer Cam getting set to try to figure out the dance called "I Got My Ass Knocked Out."
Yeah, he did, man.
Because my man went to go for the 2-point conversion.
Right.
He got blown up.
He sure did, man.
There was not no dancing going down. The only dancing going down in Atlanta yesterday was Usher.
Very good point. I mean, and the other guy came in there and
looked a little bit better.
Looked a little bit better, and sure enough, though, you know, the Atlanta Falcons, they just couldn't stop him. And Julio Jones just kept going and going and going and going and going. I'm like, wow, this guy is a beast. So, hey, sometimes you're going to have to dial up a little, not putting a mismatch.
You know, speaking of salty, Jones. You know, I talked about last year going into the Super Bowl. I know you know this.
Yes.
I was the biggest proponent that this Carolina Panther team was not that good.
All right.
I talked about it last year, and then they kept winning, and I talked about it again, and then they won again, and I talked about it in the playoffs, and they kept winning, and I talked about it in the Super Bowl, and finally they did catch the loss in the Super Bowl, but everybody still thought, and I do remember you distinctly saying, oh, they'll be back next year, they'll be good.
Yeah. Well,
guess what? They're not good.
We're only 25% through the season, Dream. We got a long way to go, and they are not.
But they're not good.
Okay.
I mean, when you watch them execute offensively, they don't scare you. And by the way, someone in the offense needs to get on the phone right now and call Ray Rice up and get him in for a freaking tryout, because the first part of their issue is they got no run game.
Right. Well, Jonathan Stewart's out, so.
Yeah, no, I know he's out, but even when he was in, it's not that successful. They need to do something with that run game.
Right. So, we'll just kick it right off here with, do they stink? Do the Carolina Panthers stink, Dream?
No, they don't stink.
They don't stink.
But they're not good.
But they're not good. So they're kind of middle of the road. You're calling them as maybe like a 500 team or something like that.
They're like in the middle. Like, because Cam is dope. I'm not going to take nothing away from him. Cam is definitely dope. But, man, they struggle, dude. They struggle.
It was a struggle, definitely. And the Atlanta Falcons are putting up a lot of points these days, Dream.
And you know I don't trust Atlanta. You know you can't trust Atlanta.
That's what I was going to ask. Are they good?
No, they're not good. But they don't stink.
Do you think that the defense has graduated a touch?
Atlanta?
Yes.
But you know what? I think the defense has graduated a touch, but it's not their defense that you worry about with Atlanta. Atlanta looks incredible on offense because, you know, they home with the Atlanta Braves as well during the regular season. They will do the dumb mistakes in the playoffs and be unable to execute in the playoffs and get you. So, not falling for Atlanta's tricks.
All right. So, the next team that we're going to talk about before this segment is brought to you by MyBookie.net. MyBookie is the only football contest site where you can play for fun and win for real. Whether you're an expert or a rookie, play now at MyBookie.net. Dream, are they good? The L.A. Rams.
No. They're not good.
Do they stink? The Arizona Cardinals.
No, they don't stink, but they're not good.
All right. Talk to me about Mr. Carson Palmer out there, Dream.
Could be a wrap for Carson. I mean, have your hands up if you had enough of seeing Carson Palmer. Like, come on. Like, you know what, Carson? I'm sorry, but like, I don't know. It's just It's the greatest thing that never was. When you talk about Carson Palmer,
it's
thing
like, that never was.
he just, I know the thing was awesome in Cincinnati that one year. They were dope. Too bad he got, hurt by the Steelers in the playoffs. That ruined it. It really has never been the same since. Yeah, I know he had success last year with this team. This team right now, they're really annoying. I don't know what their issue is. I don't like their passing scheme. I don't like their running game anymore. It got a little better yesterday, but it was the Rams they were playing. They just don't do it for me. Their offensive coordinator, and it's like their system has no rhythm to it.
No rhythm at all. Exactly. And to lose in the desert to the Rams Dream are 3-1.
Oh, I know. And they're running around talking about they're dope. They're not. Because if you watch the Rams, okay, I'll give the Rams, their defense is solid. I'm not going to say good. I'm going to say solid. But offensively, the Rams are still offensively not executing and not getting anything done. Gurley's not even – I don't know how they're – well, I know how they're scoring. The defense is putting them in, really, really nice situations. But, I mean, they're not offensively really effective.
With the exception of last week versus Tampa Bay, they scored a lot of points.
Yeah, but they points scoring off a turn. I mean, they scored a touchdown off of turnovers. And when your defense puts your offense, at the 30-yard line of the other team, other teams down in distance, you don't have to really be that effective. Yeah. I mean, you look at Gurley yesterday, 19 carries for 33 yards. Case Keenum, 18 for 33, 266. I mean, they're not blowing you away with these stats.
No, definitely not. And Gurley was struggling to get yards time and time again in that particular situation. But, Dream, to lose in Arizona, that's the same thing that happened to them last year.
Yes.
And then Arizona went into to St. Louis at the time and murdered them. So, I don't know. I just don't know what to make of this Arizona Cardinals team at this point. I really just don't. I mean, I could have sworn they were going to win the game, and they were up pretty much, good portion of the second half and just could not close it out.
And some of these teams, I have to tell you, I've watched a lot of last year's playoff teams and teams that were successful last year. They have that, oh, you know what? We'll win the game.
We'll win the game.
Oh, you know what? We'll get it together. Don't worry about it. The first, where is the intensity from the opening snap?
Well, we're seeing that across pro and collegiate football, Dream. We're seeing that a lot of different teams that just have that lackadaisical, we'll get them at the end kind of feeling. And you know what? That ends up biting you in the ass, and we've seen it time and time again where teams have played like that, and sure enough, just could not catch them at the end.
Seen it successful in the past, but not successful this season. That's not been working out this season for a bunch of these teams. And a few of these teams, I understand it. They have for Arizona, though, Arizona needs to be on your ass from the beginning of the game till the end because their offense is not one of those. Now, when I look at a team like Green Bay, I can see a team like Green Bay able to do that. They just can do it so many different ways. So I understand a little bit of them. This Arizona team, they kind of, to me, are one-dimensional. They thrive off of throwing that ball down the field, and if they can't get that to be successful, they have issues.
Yeah, they do. They get shook big time, and Fitzgerald was nowhere to be found for
a
long part of that game.
Dude, 5 catches for 62 yards, but it was like a nasty – it was not at all positive.
Not till like the fourth quarter. Looking at this –
positive.
Do they stink, Dream? The New York Jets.
Yes.
New York Jets fall to the Seattle Seahawks 27-17. I thought I'd be good with 8.5 points, but it did not work out. They ended up losing by 10. I could have sworn that Jet defense would stop Seattle. And sure enough, Seattle, with a hampered Russell Wilson at quarterback, were still able to move up and down the field. And Fitzpatrick, again, wants to throw interceptions. Dream, he had 3 of them, so that's 9 in 2 games.
A lot of people have forgotten that Fitzpatrick is a journeyman quarterback. He's a backup guy that comes in a game when your starter gets hurt. Everybody goes crazy because he looks incredible for that backup session. Then they give him the start. He plays those 2 awesome games. Yep. Awesome games, throwing the ball down the field real deep. And then the NFL film crew of the opposing team catches up with him and says, hey, do this, do that, and do the other, and we can put this guy to bed. And sure enough, that seems to happen. Fitzpatrick, that's why the Jets did not want to give Fitzpatrick loot, because they knew in the back of their mind, Dude, this is Fitzpatrick. What are you doing? You know what I'm saying? Relax. I don't think we should offer him any big contract because we still need to see a bunch of him. And after seeing a bunch of him so far this season, they are probably starting to scratch your head a little bit and maybe even looking in the direction of Geno, which is not a good look, so don't do it. Stay with Fitzpatrick because you'll get a really bad with Geno. But I'm just telling you, this guy, it's rough. I think they need to dumb down that offense. And he needs to have a little bit more patience, and they need to rely a lot more on their run game and not so much on Fitzpatrick's arm.
Well, you know what? Seattle was effective by bringing Jimmy Graham into the mix here because he had 113 yards with 6 receptions. So, you know what? Hey, maybe they're starting to click with him after all, Dream.
Well, we saw the emergence of Jimmy Graham last week. They started, doing him last week. But one of the things that I noticed about the Jets yesterday that I had an issue with, and I don't know if you watched. I know you did watch the game, so I shouldn't say I don't know if you watched it, because you did watch it.
I watched a ton of football yesterday.
The Jets never really put significant pressure on Russell Wilson.
Nope.
And allowing Russell Wilson to hang around in that pocket and throw the ball, dude. And you got A-Rod out there in the secondary. And I'm talking about Darrelle Revis. A-Rod out there in the secondary who got everybody from when he talked about how dope he was. I mean, they had a field day with that secondary yesterday.
They sure did. Exactly. And the Jets might stink after all, Dream. Are they good? Do they stink? Are they good? The Denver Broncos.
The Denver Broncos are not good. They're dope.
They're dope.
And I told you that the Denver Broncos are good because the Denver Broncos are a defensively sound team with a splash of offense. Yeah. And whenever that's the case, you're able to travel well. There's so many things you can do when that defense is that good that will keep you in a game and give your offense an opportunity. If it's not working, if things aren't working out, you can make those adjustments because the score has not gotten out of hand because your defense is holding you down. Because during a football game, there's a lot of schemes that you may go into this game thinking that you're going to be able to execute that you can't. You have to go to the sideline, make the appropriate adjustments, and find a way to find something that works. If you don't have a good defense and you're getting scored on every time the offense comes off the field and that defense, then you don't have time to effectively, hey, let's try this, let's try that, let's try the other, because you're down two to three scores.
Right.
So you have to stick with the game plan. But in a lot of cases, if your defense is able to hold you down, you can find out what effectively works and then execute it. And that's what the Denver Broncos offer. Now, I know we saw Simeon get banged up yesterday.
Yep. It
is my opinion that Paxton Lynch is the guy that the Denver Broncos really wants as their future quarterback. This is my opinion, guys. Don't think that John Elwell did not call me and tell me that. So, which I know you already know, but I'm reiterating.
Yes.
To me, Paxton Lynch is that prototypical type John Elway, Joe Montana, that type of quarterback. And I believe that they're using this opportunity to groom him for this position. I believe that he's the future of the Denver Broncos, and that's the quarterback that they want to use. He has that particular pedigree, the big arm, size is there, all the elements you look for in a Hall of Fame type quarterback and a franchise quarterback. I believe Paxton Lynch is that. Now, don't get me wrong. This guy Simeon's been successful and has played well this season, so you can't take anything away from him. But it is my opinion that Paxton Lynch is who the Denver Broncos think are going to be their next quarterback.
Very good point, Dream. So, are they good? The Oakland Raiders.
Jury's still out with me in this Raider team. I saw the Raiders yesterday setting themselves up to lose regular style against the Ravens, how the Ravens beat everybody with that, make you fall asleep, and the next thing you know, they won the game, which almost came to fruition, but didn't quite. Raiders, I'm on the fence with them still. I'm watching them in action. I don't have the love affair with the Raiders like the rest of everybody else does, because a lot of you guys love this Raider team. I put them with that Jaguar team. Something about those two teams. I don't know because they got a lot of black in their uniforms, if that's what it is. But I know a lot of you guys like these two teams. I'm still out on the Raiders. The one thing I will say about the Raiders, though, Crabtree, a beast. If Crabtree would have played on the Niners like he's playing for with the Raiders, the Niners would have probably won the Super Bowl the year they played the Ravens. Crabtree's been incredible.
Yeah, he has.
Been absolutely incredible. Been what we've expected him to be when he came into the NFL and never kind of panned out to be, but been absolutely a beast.
Exactly. And the Raiders, believe it or not, Dream, they're 3-1, and 3 of those wins have all come on the road. So they lost the one game at home, but that's pretty impressive winning 3 on the road, especially in Baltimore, Dream.
Right.
So big ups to them for doing it. And Jack Del Rizzo is making it work, Dream.
Yes,
He's making it work. Do they stink? The Kansas City Chiefs getting murdered by the Pittsburgh Steelers.
I don't know what happened with Kansas City last night, to be honest with you.
Well, right out the gate, they fell down 22 points in the first quarter.
I mean, I watched talk about some defensive schemes not working. I watched them defensively. You let Antonio Brown. Now, I know everybody knows Julio Jones and Antonio Brown are 2 most popular, best wide receivers in the game of football right now. And you let them get open with nobody on them. And they showed one of them where the free safety or the strong safety bit on like Joe Jelly Donut doing a short out on the right-hand side and leaving like Antonio Brown open. And Rodney Harrison, when they go to the desk at halftime, says that he's screaming, having a fit, like, what are you doing? And that's my thing. What are you doing?
Right.
I mean, he's saying what everybody else is saying. I don't know what, there's a lack of, it seems like, intelligence going on in the NFL and it's somewhat in college. I get college because sometimes, you're trying to teach these kids how to play the game. NFL, you're supposed to know what you're doing at this point. And man, you're supposed to, there were times certain NFL teams, you practice all week. The theme of the week was this player. The theme of the week was not let Jerry Rice get loose. You know what I'm saying? The theme of the week was not letting Tim Brown get loose. When you're playing a Pittsburgh Steeler, we're going to get beat, but we're not going to get beat by Antonio Brown. When you're playing, the Atlanta Falcons, we're going to get beat, but we're not going to get beat by Julio Jones.
Yeah, good point.
That's what you do at right now as you're at the film room. That's all we're talking about. We're talking about, okay, we got the Falcons coming in this week. I'm not letting Julio Jones beat us.
Exactly. So moving on here, Dream. Are they good? 3-1, 2-0 away. The Dallas Cowboys and Dak Prescott at the helm.
Ooh, this game. I want to scream at Twitter about this game because I know why everybody wanted to take the Niners yesterday. Okay. Because of the stupid point spread that I tell you guys all the time. The point spread does not play the damn game. I don't know who can show me the statistic, the breakdown, statistically, gameplayly, recordly, what. Show me how the Niners are better than the Dallas Cowboys on paper. You can show me that. I might fall back from being as salty about everybody talking about the Niners yesterday because you took the Niners for one reason. They were a home team underdog. And how did that work out?
Well, that's been coming to form quite a bit, Dream.
It has been coming to form, but the Niners stink, okay? And I've been talking about them on this show probably for 2 years now. I'm a Niner fan. When I tell you the Niners stink and the Niners not going to win, trust me, I'm going to be 95% right about that. This game, and the only reason I'm a little bit more salty about this, because all the rhetoric on Twitter yesterday had me not take that Dallas Cowboys like I wanted to.
Got it. So, you know what it is that everybody has implanted in their brain the 28-0 victory over the Rams on that prime time game when they were a home team underdog versus the Rams, Dream, and they got it done and beat the snot out of the Rams. So, and it's crazy just how this was all worked out. Now the Rams have emerged and won, a bunch of games in a row now. So it's like
the San Francisco Niners stink, y'all. I'm telling you, they stink. I told you about Chip Kelly. Look at Philadelphia with Chip Kelly and without Chip Kelly. What's that telling you about their coaching right there? Right out of the gate. Yes. Start from the top.
Right.
All right? You're looking at, Gabbert, and you're looking at a guy that won't stand up for the damn national anthem. You're talking about Off-field distractions with that nonsense, along with a bad team, okay? It's just stupid. This team is not good. They have their defense is somewhat okay, but when your defense is left on the field for as long as they're on the field, okay? And we talked about Chip Kelly in that offense quickly getting out and the defense coming back in. It's not a good team. It's not a good team. Okay, there's 3 really bad teams in football, and the Niners are one of them.
All right, Dream. So we're going to take a break. We're going to come back, and we're going to talk about – we're going to move it over to college football because we got the brand new AP poll that's come out. And it might surprise you a little bit on some of these teams, how they've moved around. And we're also going to talk about tonight's matchup, as well as discuss a little MLB playoffs, as now the regular season is over, and we get to talk about what we got coming up this week as far as the MLB. So lots to talk about after this. Guys, you are listening to your boys at the SBTV Nation.
Hey, sports fans, football season is here, and it's time to get in on the action with MyBookie.net. MyBookie.net is the first and only sports action website with real Vegas odds and incredible player props for all your favorite sporting events. The best part is there are no sign-up fees and no deposits required to join, play, or win. From pro to college football, MyBookie.net lets you play online and win big. There's no better time to join MyBookie than today. Go online to MyBookie.net to open an account to start playing with the big boys. MyBookie has proven to be the most exciting online experience for all sports fans. Get in on the action. Visit MyBookie.net today. Call 844-722-2387. That's 844-722-2387. Or visit MyBookie.net today. MyBookie.net is the real deal. Only the biggest, only the best, only at MyBookie. Sign up today. No deposit necessary. Terms and conditions apply. Play for fun only. Void where prohibited.
Looking to win big this football season? Go to smpicks.com, the #1 sports expert in picking winners. Everyone wants that winning edge. At smpicks.com, you'll get 30 years of experience in picking big winners on all sports with our team of experts. At smpicks.com, it's all about being a winner. Owner Scott Matthews just can't see it any other way. Visit right now at smpicks.com and receive your first huge winner on us, absolutely free. That's right, all listeners receive your first huge winner on us, Scott Matthews, a great American. It's absolutely free. That's right, free just by registering at smpicks.com/SBTV.
DigitalMuscle.com, the fitness industry's media hub, home to the most knowledgeable, influential, and inspiring members of the worldwide fitness community. DigitalMuscle.com, the exclusive home of the Arnold Classic webcast, Pro Bodybuilding Worldwide Radio, and the new Digital Muscle blogosphere. Join us at the fitness industry's media hub, DigitalMuscle.com. DigitalMuscle.com.
All right, Dream.
Yes.
It's time to turn the page.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
It's not done. I'm still mad. I'm still mad. If you ain't mad,
turn it
today,
around. Enough is enough. Come on.
Let me tell you why I'm mad, though. Let me tell you why I'm mad.
I think everybody's tired of hearing you cry.
No, let me tell you why I'm mad. Because y'all mad, too. Because you know a couple of things that people knew yesterday, and you did it anyway. Like you knew the Browns stunk, but you didn't take the Redskins. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
You feel me on that? You knew that. You didn't take the Redskins, though. Because you're like, I don't know, because the Browns, you know, what, they stink. And look, Redskins won and cover. You knew you couldn't you knew you couldn't trust the Jets, but you took them anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying there's certain situations in here that we shouldn't have fell for yesterday. And we fell for them anyway. And I hate falling for nonsense.
All right, guys, we're going to move over to collegiate football here. We're going to talk about the AP Top 25 poll. And we're going to go down just to the notable things that are going on. But first of all, Dream, they haven't really played anybody. They've been playing, well, I can't say that. Over the last couple of weeks, they've had a couple of beatdown opponents, and Alabama remains at number 1. Your favorite team.
Yeah.
The Alabama Crimson Tide, Roll Tide. Number 2, you got The Ohio State University is 4-0, and they stomped Rutgers. We didn't expect anything to change as far as the top 2 was concerned. Now we go over to number 3. You got number 3, the Clemson Tigers, after their victory over Louisville. Wow, ever since that Louisville game, Dream. Oof. we've had some issues. So looking at this Louisville team, we'll talk about where they have fallen to. But Clemson, number 3, Dream, moving up from number 5.
Right.
Number 4, their big win wasn't that impressive, but Michigan is still number 4, Dream. So now they have to take this show on the road, considering the fact that they have played 5 consecutive home games in a row, and I believe they have to go to Rutgers next. But they got some pretty tight matchups coming up, man, so we'll have to see what ends up going down with them. Number 5, Dream, in the land, Washington in the Pac-12, 5-0. All right? Yeah, just let me know any thoughts that you have on any of these teams, one bit. So number 6, the Houston Cougars have not managed to move at all. They stay at number 6. I'm telling you, I mean, Houston is going to have to beat Louisville to get considered. Because you know what? They are undefeated. They beat Oklahoma. But Oklahoma is not looking like that team that they were last year. So it makes that win not as impressive to the committee and to basically the land. So Houston, unless they beat Louisville, might be on the outside looking in, regardless if they win the rest of their games. Number 7, Dream, dropped all the way to number 7 is Louisville. Talk to me about that, because I know you're not happy about that one.
Not happy at all. It's a bad drop, but I understand it. I think they will work their way up throughout the rest of the season, but I mean, this is how it works. I'm not really mad about it. I expected them to drop. I did not expect them to drop all the way to 7. I saw them maybe at the 5 spot, but you know, all the teams in front of them are undefeated, so I get it.
All right, guys, and we had a conversation yesterday that I feel that if Washington wins out and wins the Pac, they will go into the playoff versus a 1-loss Louisville team. And you disagree with me on that, but we'll see how it all shakes out going towards the end here, because Louisville, Dream, they have to play. Here we go. So it's time for them to bounce back. They got to play Duke and North Carolina State, NC State, at home. Then they got to go to Virginia. They got to go to Boston College. They play Wake Forest at home. Then they have to go to Houston. That's like the only hard game on their schedule, to be honest with you. I think for the rest of them, I think they'll score 60 points as usual and get it done, providing, obviously, that Mr. Action Jackson remains healthy this year. And then they got to play Kentucky at home. So I wouldn't expect them to lose any other games. I actually think they're going to beat Houston, to be honest with you. You think that'll be a good game, or you think Louisville's got the edge in that one?
I think Louisville has the edge in that game. I think they'll beat Houston, but we know how college football works. You know, Louisville's going to have that one game against somebody dusty. I don't know who, but somebody that's going to probably be more of a threat to them than the big game matchup against Houston. We've seen this, but that same thing holds true for everybody in that top 7, right. And especially once you come out of Alabama, we know we have the Ohio State Michigan game on the horizon. That's gonna. So one of them two is catching a loss,
of course.
And I was looking at Clemson's schedule. Clemson does have a really cake schedule, though.
They do, right? Well, they've had that going back to last year. I remember that. I want to say it was like maybe like 4 or 5 games in or something like that. And I looked at Clemson, I looked at the rest of their schedule, and I was like, oh, man, they got a pretty clear path to go into the ACC championship and to the playoff. And
Clemson's got a pretty cake schedule. And, I know everybody's sitting back talking about Florida State stinks, and I agree with you, Florida State does stink. Still, it's not going to be easy to beat Florida State in Florida State for Clemson, especially that's going to be a game where Florida State could maybe get themselves back into not in the playoff because that's done. Yeah, but done. At least relative big game. They'll be talking about them again. They're practicing for that game now.
Yeah, right. That's like I could see it shape up now. You got a New Year's 6 bowl game with Florida State versus Houston. Or you got something like that going on. I could see that. So looking at Clemson's schedule moving forward, you're right. I mean, at Boston College, NC State, then they got to go to Florida State, which that may be a loss. I don't know.
That's what I just said it's gonna be tough. I know we think Florida State's not. Listen, I got to be honest with you. Clemson, I know they beat Louisville. I see a loss. I see a loss somewhere in Clemson's future because I just still, based on what we were supposed to get, they didn't score any points in the third quarter. Right. And based on what we were supposed to get at home in Death Valley under the lights with all that, it wasn't that. It was not a dominant performance. Now I know Louisville's really good because I talked about them being dope, and they are. And I know Clemson still managed to win the game, but a couple of different things went a couple of different ways, and you could say this about a lot of football games. Louisville might have emerged as the winner of that game.
All right, Texas A&M is number 8, 5-0 in the SEC. Dream. You like this team?
They just struggle with South Carolina. I don't know what that was all about.
Yeah, it's a tough place to play, though.
So what?
Yeah, I know. And, here's the deal. You had your boy BMAC call in, and he referenced this game next week where the Tennessee Volunteers need to go into Texas A&M. Tennessee's another one of them teams. First half, want to screw around. Second half, get it done. And they have had Lady Luck on their side, considering the fact that there was 2 Hail Marys in that game, and they ended up winning versus Georgia. But looking at this one here, you got Tennessee is number 9. Back to number 9. This is
number
where they
9,
started the year.
And they're undefeated. They found a way to win. It's been an ugly fashion. This week is the real test.
Yes.
As far as I'm concerned.
Going into Texas A&M. Number 10 is the Miami Hurricanes, who are 4-0 and pretty much dominating their opponents here, Dream. So this might be a team to be a force to be reckoned with here that nobody's really paying attention to. So
good team. I'm not that impressed with Miami still.
You're not that impressed with. I'm impressed with them defensively. That's what I've been looking at. And looking at their schedule coming up, they've got Florida State at home this week. So that is a huge game for them. Huge. If they can knock off Florida State, then they're definitely in the conversation. They got North Carolina at home, so those are 2 big games at home. They got to go to Virginia Tech, go to Notre Dame. They play home to the Pittsburgh Panthers, at Virginia, at NC State, and Duke. So they've got 3 big games here on the ticket. They've got the Florida State, North Carolina, and at Notre Dame games. So if they can get through these, Dream, you may see a little Miami kind of emerge here, believe it or not. Looking at the rest of it here, Wisconsin number 11, Nebraska number 12, Baylor number 13 at a 5-0 record, Dream, number 13 in the land. Nobody's impressed with Baylor.
No one's impressed with Baylor because Baylor almost just lost.
Yeah, I know. Exactly.
They barely got out of there alive, and nobody's ever impressed with you when you don't cover your spread.
Exactly. Number 14, Ole Miss. Number 15, Stanford. Number 16, Arkansas with a 4-1 record. Number 17, North Carolina. Number 18, Florida. Number 19, Boise State in the Mountain West are 4-0. Number 20, the Oklahoma Sooners. Number 21, Colorado. I like this Colorado team, Dream.
I don't really care for them. I'm not that impressed with them. I saw what you saw a little bit, but it's not enough for me.
You realize that this team, their only loss was in Ann Arbor.
I do.
And you know what? They actually were up on Michigan quite a bit in that game.
Not like they played, like their other played games was against Alabama, Ohio State.
I know.
Stop.
Number 22, West Virginia, 4-0. Number 23, Florida State. Number 24, Utah. And number 25, Virginia Tech. And there is another team that is receiving votes to crack the top 25, and that is Western Michigan, Dream. That's my new undercover squad.
Oh, okay, because you switched from the Illini?
I switched from the Illini. As soon as Western Michigan beat the Illini, I transferred over to them. And sure enough, it's been dope ever since. So,
I like that.
All right, yeah, not bad. So anyway, moving on here. That's the college football top 25, guys. So if you have any comments on that, hit us up, and we'd love to hear what you got to say about that particular situation and what's going on. And we got some big games coming up this weekend. Dream.
And Hat, you know what? We never go crazy about that college top 25. I mean, I know you do because you got your Herb Street thing going, yes. But it always ends up at the end of the season. It some kind of way manages to work its way out. Somebody catches the loss, so it works its way out. I think that it's going to work its way out again this season, and I think at the end of the day, I honestly think Louisville's going to be in the playoffs.
You really think so?
I do.
Well, you got to have, you know how some of these teams perform on the road.
Sure.
Being on the road in college football is difficult. And there's a lot of things that come into play with that. There's obviously they have guidelines and they have stuff that they need. Yeah, girls. Yeah, right. But they have to keep their grades up. They have to study, cram for exams. I mean, I know they all have tutors and stuff like that, or maybe, some cases people doing their homework. But, going on the road in these hostile environments, anything can happen on any given Saturday or any primetime game. So
going on the road and expecting to get calls to be called necessarily like you're supposed to be is another issue that you might come to fruition.
Right, exactly. So, all right, guys, we got two more things to talk about. One being the MLB. The season has closed. We are done with 162 games in Major League Baseball, and that dream is why these guys get paid the big bucks, because they're out there each and every day 162 times a year. It's a lot of work, considering the fact that you're playing, sometimes 5, 6, even 7 games in a week. It gets kind of crazy. So anyway, looking at it here, what we have, the playoffs are here, guys, and we're going to be talking about it this week. But we won't have a show because we're not doing a show before these two games start off. And you got Baltimore at Toronto. We don't have pitchers announced yet on that one, but those two teams are going to play each other, and the winner of that game will play, I believe it is the Texas Rangers.
And that's Tuesday, correct?
That is Tuesday. Then on Wednesday, you got the San Francisco Giants versus the New York Metropolitans. Madison Bumgarner versus Noah Syndergaard. Should be a very interesting matchup. That game bothers the hell out of me as far as, hoping that the Mets go into the next round. Whoever wins this game is going to go into the Cubs and play them in Wrigley Field on Friday. But Bumgarner's a great pitcher. And Dan's not scared about that one bit. I worry about the Mets with the versus left-handed pitching, to be honest with you. So, Dream, we got a little game tonight.
Yep.
We got a little bit of a game tonight, and we got to talk about it real quick, and that is the NFL, and it is Monday Night Football. And on Monday Night Football tonight, we got the New York Giants at the Minnesota Vikings. 3-0 Minnesota Vikings are minus 4.5 points with an under-over of 43. Dream, what's your thoughts on this? Because I know you've been a big advocate of this New York Giant team. So
I have been.
Curious to know your thoughts on this.
First of all, my thoughts are, you know what? We haven't talked about, what I am salty about with the NFL this year? This taunting rule is bothersome to me. I don't, now if they call it, you can get ejected from the game. Like, what is that?
Isn't it your second offense you get ejected?
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. You're set, but like, why am I going to get ejected in a game? Because I did the first down thing, or I did, I got a little. I'm not feeling that. Yesterday I saw Cam Newton do it, and I hate Cam, or hate his antics, I should say. But I saw Cam Newton do it, and he did that, the first down signal, and they flagged him for it. So that means if he did it again, that he would qualify. Could you imagine your starting quarterback getting thrown out of the game for making the first down signal?
It's. I didn't see that yesterday.
Yeah, yesterday they gave him. They gave him one and said, if you do it again, you're going to get, you're eligible to get thrown out of the game. I'm not like, I don't get that. I don't understand that. First of all, I know they probably put that in place because of that thing that went down with Odell Beckham Jr. and Norman last season in that particular game. If you're having some situation like that, or I'm going to date myself. I don't know if you guys remember. I'm going way back. Sorry. But there was a Monday Night Football game. Garrett Thomas, RIP, rest his soul, was involved in. That he was just out of control and kept the whole game making penalties. And they never were able to eject him. If you get an outrageous situation like that, okay, yeah, the guy should be ejected. Given the first down signal or being excited about the play, I don't see how you get ejected over that.
I agree with you. I think it's more along the lines of if you're really taunting a player in their face, or you do something crazy. But I mean, I was a big trash talker when I played the game.
Me too.
Big trash talker.
Me too.
It's nuts. And just to think that making a first down signal or getting up and dancing or something like that will get you thrown out of the game is kind of crazy.
Right.
Because that almost makes that makes the game just that much more fun. You know what I'm saying? So that's a little. I think that's a little shaky. I agree with you on that. So anyway, moving on here. You got the Giants are 2-1 versus the 3-0 Minnesota Vikings. Minnesota has had one of the best defenses in the NFL, giving up 13.3 points per game and only allowing 211 through the air. They're giving up less than 300 yards per game defensively, Dream. So talk to me about the Minnesota Vikings versus the New York Giants.
Well, I mean, we watched the Minnesota Vikings. I have not been really that impressed with the Minnesota Vikings personally as far as their offense is concerned. Their defense, though, has been very impressive where they're, shutting the team down from doing what they usually do well. They are at home in this particular situation versus the New York Giants. I've talked about the Giants. For me, the Giants, it's where are your heads at? If the Giants are able to stay level-headed and execute and not deal with a bunch of nonsense, I think the Giants should be able to win this game. I mean, but there's not going to be a level for them to make mistakes and win this game. If you're going to make mistakes on offense against the Vikings are going to capitalize. I think this is a perfect spot for the Giants to come in and win this game. But they have to execute and they have to play mistake-free football. Eli can't come in and throw, 2 to 3 interceptions. And I just can't have – I don't care what you guys talk about this kid's energy and that's how he plays. Look. Nobody got time for that right now, okay? Nobody got time. You're 2-1. You're playing a 3-0 team on the road. I don't got time to come over and give you your binky and settle you down.
Yeah.
Okay? I need to be focused on what to do on defense, what to do on offense. I need to be looking at my tablet, looking over the defensive schemes, seeing what they're doing and understand. I don't have time to go over there and get you together. So, I mean, you guys, I heard you and Dan, and you kind of said, oh, well, that's part of his passion. Look, that's a distraction, dude.
It is a distraction. I agree with you. I see both sides.
Okay.
I like the fact of a player being emotional and wanting to win. And you know what? I mean, because we've talked about it, Dream. How many guys and how many pro athletes are out there, college, whatever, that just have that demeanor of whatever. So I can appreciate somebody being emotional and being, their whole heart and soul into the game. I can appreciate that. Now, when it comes to the point, like you're saying, where, Elijah Manning needs to be sitting there studying the defenses and trying to figure out an offensive game plan, to have to take a break from that to settle him down, that's where I draw the line. I agree with you. So I think, and McAdoo came out and said that he needs to calm down. So, looking at it here, I think you're going to see. I think you're going to see him kind of chill out a little bit tonight. I really do, unless they're getting murdered. If they're getting murdered, then you might see some emotions on the sideline. So, looking at it here, I think that this is a tough game, but I'm not sold on the Minnesota Vikings. I'm not. I did see. I mean, they have shut down some pretty prolific offenses, being the Green Bay Packers and. Well, I can't even say Carolina's prolific at this point because who knows who they are right now. But Minnesota's been playing some pretty good defense. And I think that defense will shine tonight. I think this game might be that the Giants, every single game they've played this year has been a stomachache, Dream.
That I do know.
All right. Yeah, you know that firsthand. Consider the fact that they beat Dallas by 1 point. They beat New Orleans by 3, and they lost by 2 to the Washington Redskins. That Redskins loss bothers me with the Giants. You know what I'm saying? That one there kind of weighs on your psyche a little bit, in my humble opinion.
Yeah, it does, because it was a game that they came out gangbusters.
Right.
Then allowed the Vikings to get back in the game. But they still remain competitive, and then all of a sudden it was like, they just made less of it.
The Redskins, I mean, you lose to the Redskins at home. That could definitely weigh on your psyche. So anyway, moving on here, I could see the Minnesota Vikings containing Elijah Manning in that offense for a certain amount of time. This game, I could see coming down right to the wire, right to the end. If Minnesota comes out and blows the doors off of the Giants, then I will be a believer. But until then, a lot of these 3-0 teams, Dream, a.k.a. the Broncos, the Minnesota Vikings, the Philadelphia Eagles, I'm still not sold yet.
Okay.
I'm not sold. And it's going to take a real big beatdown to sell me on this one because you know what? I know that you're higher on the Giants than I am. I don't think that this Giants team is all that. I don't think that they're NFC championship caliber at all. I really don't. I think they're maybe a 9-7, 10-6 team, maybe something like that.
Giants?
But, yeah, I could see them being an over 500 team. I just don't think that this team is exactly what they need to be in order to be considered one of the best in the NFC. I just don't see it.
That's because you know what, and I know what you're talking about because you see them make the dumb mistakes still.
Right.
It's like there's like a failure to execute when they really need to.
Right.
Or I should say, you know what, a failure to execute consistently.
Yeah.
That's what their problem is. I agree with you. I see that as well with them. But it's something that you think over the course of this season that will improve, even though we haven't seen an improvement up until now. So what I'm hoping for is I am hoping for some improvement with that, because when you look at this team, honestly, on both sides of the ball, and with the weapons that they have as far as the receiving core is concerned, I mean, they're pretty nicely set.
Yeah, and you know what? Going back to last year with the New York Giants and up until the third game of this year, I saw definitely a difference in the defense. I thought the defense got a lot stronger and better and more athletic out there. And the first two games, they held Dallas 19 points and New Orleans to 13. So I was kind of impressed with them up until the Washington game where they couldn't stop anybody.
Right.
So now I'm just kind of scratching my head, and I really don't know the identity of this Giants team. And I'm not a believer in Minnesota yet. So if I was to put this game right smack in the middle of a Sunday card, I would not even get near it, to be honest with you. It was a little bit of a challenging weekend on Sunday for me. Saturday was off the hook. I made some really good money on Saturday.
Sure.
And gave a good amount of it back on Sunday. So I might just sit back. I'm going to probably watch a little bit more highlights and a little bit more film on these two teams and kind of get an idea of the defensive schemes with Minnesota. See if I feel that they can contain Elijah maybe to possibly play an under in this game.
Oh, please don't talk totals to me, dog.
Don't
Please.
talk.
Please don't talk totals, because first of all,
totals were dead right yesterday.
The San Diego New Orleans over, which I should have that's all I should have did. I didn't. And there's some things that stand out to us on Sunday that you just know it's going to be, and that San Diego New Orleans, that should have been like, I should have been screaming and yelling about it, and I wasn't. And I didn't play it for nowhere near as much as I should have. And then last night, I did get involved in a teaser with the Steelers. Took the under.
Oh.
Wait, stop. Don't because listen, it was 56 points.
Okay.
There's no reason I shouldn't have had it. The Pittsburgh Steelers gave up a booty touchdown with 7 seconds left on the clock.
You know that. Oh, my God. What a way to lose.
Yeah, I did one of those. I did one of those 7 seconds on the clock. But here, guys, one more thing about the Steelers, and Steeler fans know this. Well, I don't think we've talked about this. Do you know how the Steelers go for 2-point conversions quite a bit?
I've seen them do it in the past.
Yeah, they do it kind of like how, like Oregon and Chip Kelly used to do it. Yeah, they go for 2-point conversion, which, by the way, they did a 2-point conversion on their first drive of the game. I lost that by 1 point, so that's my point right there.
Oh, there it is. Wow. Anyway, so what's your opinion on this game, Dream?
I like the Giants.
You like the Giants plus the 4.5.
I like the Giants, which, sit down, money line.
You like the Giants to win the game outright.
I like the Giants to win the game outright.
Okay. You're a big proponent of this Giants
I'm
team.
a big proponent of it. Like I said, if they can keep their heads in the game, execute their game plan, and not deal with nonsense, they're one of the better teams in the NFC, and they can win this game. I'm still not... Guys, listen. Philadelphia let Sam Bradford go a week before the season started. That's giving you a little idea of how they feel about it. And I know Sam's been so far okay for Minnesota. Don't think that Minnesota isn't over there holding their breath with Sam Bradford, because they are. Okay? And I know he hasn't made a lot of mistakes yet, but we do know mistakes are possibly coming. So I'm not a believer in Sam Bradford as a starting quarterback. And you can only dumb down that offense so much. You don't have Adrian Peterson to rely on. if Minnesota has not been put in that position where they've really needed their offense, to play, extremely effectively for them, because their defenses, pretty much held them down. If the Giants can get up and get a little bit of a lead going and get out front of this team, I think you might see a little bit different Minnesota Vikings. This just looks like a spot. I don't know why, and you could call it gambling, you call it what it want. I just call it what you want. I just think that the Giants can beat the Minnesota Vikings tonight, and I think that they will.
Yeah, and it's not like you have to be an offensive juggernaut with this defense to win games. I mean, they only given up 13 points a game. So looking at it, I mean, you could be a mediocre quarterback and win. I mean, we've seen that for decades in football now. So the big question mark here for me is the Giant defense, Dream. Can this defense rise to the occasion, cause some pressure, get some turnovers, get some short fields for the Giant offense? That is the key question here. I believe that if they can, then the Giants can win this game as well. I'm not going to get involved with the Giants at all because I'm a little stung from New York teams these days. But, looking at it here, I may play the under. I'll know later on when I do my homework, and we'll go from there. All right?
Yep.
All right, Dream. So that's going to pretty much do it for the show. We are ready to rock tonight for Monday Night Football. And, guys, we got a big week coming up. A lot of key matchups going on in NFL. We've got the MLB playoffs among us, and we've got college football as well. So, Dream, what do you got to do to close out of here, my man?
Hey, listen, this weekend, as Hat alluded to, was up and down. We had a good day. I had a good day Saturday, even though losing to Louisville. I mean, if Louisville had won, Saturday would have been monumental for me. But there still was a great day Saturday. Sunday made a lot of mistakes. I mean, if you listen to the show, which that's annoying too to me, as far as I can come on the show and say all these great things and then not do them when I get off the show. Right. But if you listen to the show, I mean, most of the synopsises were pretty dead on as far as that's concerned. A little bit of a frustrating week, a little bit of a frustrating 2 weeks, I should actually say. So, looking to move forward, catch a little steam, and get it going in another way. We'll get things going. Things are going to work out. You know how this is. You guys been around for a while. That's how this gambling thing goes. You're up and down, you're in and out. There's going to be good weeks. There's going to be bad weeks. A couple of bad weeks in succession. Right now, I got to be honest with you, though. Yesterday, I knew the landscape of professional football was no good. I didn't like a lot of the games yesterday. It was like everywhere I looked, it was like, nah, don't play. Nah, don't play. College football, though, I'm noticing got a little bit of different feel for college football. And I think the feel is a little bit cleaner than pro football right now. And sometimes you have to be able to recognize that and go in that direction. And most of the years, it's been the exact opposite, where college is screwed up, pro. So keep a look at that. We're going to get some success here. I want to thank everybody that's retweeted the show. Got Vegas Girl 92661 out there, Andy Jones, Terrence Mack, JC, Gary Bouchard, also Franklin Colado's in the house. Jonesy, what's going on, player? C. Rodriguez Jr., G. Rose, Jim Roman's a douche, CDN Capper King, the Sports God, Cash Action Bets, Sir Mata, OJFB, Jeff Ryan, just to name a few. We also have my man Shane Whitehead. Shane Whitehead, as I've been pronouncing it, Shane Whitehead. He corrected me on that, so we'll try to get it together in the future. Be advised, player. I get a lot of professional athletes' name wrong, so I'm just treating you like a pro. Anyway, gang, I'm out of here. I like the Giants money line tonight. Do what you got to do. Like Hat always says, I don't know if you like it. If you don't tail. If you do tail. Once again, we are not handicappers, are gamblers with a little bit of an opinion about things that we share with you guys. I do like the New York Giants on the money line. Best of luck to you. I'm the Dream. Always remember who you're with. Make the most of each and every day, as you cannot get this time back.
Yes, sir. Guys, it's Monday. So once you're done listening to the show, figure out a way to conquer the world. We love you to death. Go out there and go easy. Rise and grind. Make all your dreams a damn reality and get that money. Let's go.
Peace.